Hey guys and girls, Bored Now back with you. On this video I will be talking about Wednesday episode 3. The episode is called Friend or Woe. Full spoilers from the start of this review. One was decent. I enjoyed this one. It was much better than the last one, and it might be the best of the three so far. The characters didn't annoy me as much, some of them, and it was more focused on like the mystery of what's going on. Also, some of it just spoke to me, like some of the mythology of it and some of what it was getting into with some of this sort of folktale type vibe to it. Solid, enjoyable episode, and it certainly built on things, so it was moving in the right direction. Very watchable as always, the Wednesday character and General Tager. Some good lines of dialogue from her, including a nice callback to the Addams Family film. Nabbed in the library in the last episode where she was grabbed when she went into the secret room, or this Nightshade Club a little bit more. So it turns out she was grabbed by Bianca and a bunch of other students, including Xavier, and they're all members of the club. They tie Wednesday up and question her, even though they admit that the club was disbanded years ago, as Wednesday heard. They say that they still keep the tradition going. She questions them about Rowan and his ties to the club, but Bianca dismisses that, saying that we kicked his ass out a month ago. Xavier, who's taken a bit of a shine into Wednesday, as we know, speaks up for her and tries to get her in the club, which Bianca is clearly against because she hates her, but Wednesday doesn't want it anyway. We get a classic Wednesday line as she's leaving, which is, "You give kidnapping a bad name." And this pilgrimage festival, which Wednesday gets talked into playing violin for like the ceremony, and it's the ceremony to honour like this famous pilgrim, Joseph Cranstone, and a statue of his is going to be erected. We get a bit more of the politics of what's going on with the school and the town in this one. We find out then when the sheriff tries to push for more interviews, investigation at the school over what happened to Rowan, the mayor shuts him down, and he's quite blunt about it. He admits and he says that they're funding us, so we can't afford to get on their bad side. And we just see a couple of examples, like a scene with him and Principal Reeves in the diner, then they are getting more and more in bed with each other, the two sides. Believes there might be some connection to that and what happened with Rowan, so she starts investigating it at this pilgrim festival, this fake town which has been recreated for the times, and her and the other students have to do various like tasks. Like at one point she has to work in like a fudge shop, like a pilgrim fudge shop, and it's another great Wednesday sort of moment where she's like displaying the fudge, and she does a crack about how like they whitewashed everything like years ago, and just being all cynical, rebellious. So that's another fun scene. But yeah, it's coupled with like their different activities, but also with Wednesday investigating thing, asking questions, because she gets this information about Joseph Cranstone from when she's talking to Xavier, who's still struggling like believing some of her theories, but he is becoming more open-minded. I'll say actually he got a bit more interested in this episode, partly because there was some ambiguity over if she can trust him. Like her and Ingrid like swapping. So Ingrid has like a crush on Ajax, that's it. And she swaps with Wednesday because Wednesday wants to get in this town and do a bit of digging. Ingrid gets to spend the afternoon with Ajax, and that's a cute scene. I like that. As I said, I think Ingrid is one of the better supporting characters. So she's has this awkward exchange with Ajax, where they're working in this shop, some sort of slug shot. It's pretty gross. They mention it at some point, but she gets so frustrated with him not picking up on her signal, she just blasts out. She's been flirting with him all afternoon, and he's not even noticed. And in the end, she gets a date with him, which we pick back up later. He's always being bullied from the bullies who are putting him in the stockings. CGI vomit at one point in that scene, which doesn't look good. Together, and she finds a painting of this other woman who she thinks might be connected, but then they're caught by the woman who's showing them round and the one who applied jobs. She's a decent character, actually. She has quite a perky but arrogant sort of energy to her. Either in the diner, and he tells her about these old ruins. Vivia's working in there because I guess Jarma, because they sort of hate each other, and he's warning her again about Tyler. But as I said, Tyler tells her about the old ruins, and he says, "I'll take you if you want," but she makes an excuse, but 100% trust Tyler, even though she sort of stood up for him when Xavier was running down. But this is the scene where we get the reference from the Addams Family movie, because Tyler mentioned, just make some crack about her being a good little Girl Scout or something like that, just being ironic. And that's when she says, "Well, I eat little Girl Scouts for breakfast," and that's definitely a reference to the first Addams Family movie. So I really enjoyed that moment.
Is this made from real lemons? Yes. I only like all natural foods and beverages. Tell you what, I'll buy a cup if you buy a box of my delicious Girl Scout cookies. Do we have a deal? Are they made from real Girl Scouts?
But she goes off to this ruins to investigate. She thinks she might get a vision or something, and she's confronted by this scary, creepy old guy, which it turns out is Claxton Vision. And this part of the episode might be my favourite part, when it goes back into history. It goes back 400 years, and because she's seen previous in the episode in the book that she got from the library that there's someone who looks like her, but it's back. She was in the picture with Gladstone 400 years ago, and indeed she sees someone who looks like a younger version but with blonde hair, but as said 400 years ago, so clearly not her. And she gets apprehended by all these pilgrims, led by Claxton, and she's being accused of worshipping the devil or being linked to the devil. So she's put in this crate. She's with her family, who have also been accused, but there's a couple plot holes, because the family are all chained up. For some reason, they don't chain her up. And also, when she escapes, no one really notices, although Claxton does, because he goes after her, but no one else seems to. She's running through the crowd, and they don't really seem to notice who it is. Burning the thing. And one of the things I like about the episode is this theme of how the pilgrims treated outcasts, that they're all the same and they're all threats to us. It's just they're a little bit different, which obviously applies to people in life as well who may not fit a certain criteria, but they're just people the same as us. Younger version, this ancestor, as Wednesday says at one point, being like trapped of this statue, and at first it's really bittersweet for Wednesday because she's there playing the violin and she has to endure them sort of forming all over this really nasty pilgrim, but then she's got thing to like set the statue on fire, which freaks everyone out, and that's nice sort of symmetry considering what he did in the past to her family. Stay perks up and starts playing a more upbeat tune, and she gets into it a lot more, whereas before she was like really downbeat. The principal's absolutely furious, and she seems convinced that Wednesday had a role in it. And Wednesday pleads ignorance and says, "My hands are clean," which is a pun, and we cut back to Thing, showing that it was Thing that did it. But she obviously doesn't like own up to it. But then she questions Reeves, the principal, about why is she complicit in all this. She knows the story about what Clackstone did. Why is she covering up for it? And she doesn't really give a straight answer. She just says that because she sees a good opportunity in it. And yeah, it's an odd sort of scene where she's sort of warning Wednesday. A little bit of light in it where there are signs that Reeves might not be the monster she seems at times. That's with Ingrid going on her date with Ajax, or she's supposed to anyway. It doesn't pan out that way. Wednesday's lying to her, by the way, because Wednesday has a line about if he breaks your heart, I'll do his with a nail gun, which is great, a great Wednesday line, but also in her own way saying she cares for Ingrid. But Ajax never makes it because he's killed by something, and he seems to be frozen. He's in the shower. So then it's just cutting around all these different characters. Tyler in the bath, but he seems to be making monster faces like he could be a monster maybe. That's a little cheesy and on the nose. It cuts to his father, the sheriff, who we see has a photo. He's developing a photo of the monster, the same one who went after Roland. Principal, she's got the file of Morticia, so she's clearly knows a lot about Morticia's past, as she said, and maybe just because she's getting more suspicious of Wednesday, I guess she's looking over the file, looking for connections there. And we also see, obviously, Ingrid getting frustrated then Ajax hasn't turned up and screaming. Via comes out of like a door, some wooden door, a barn or something, and yeah, he's got something on him, like he's covered in something. Much better. That's my review of Wednesday episode 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys again soon.